It's time to talk loosies. No, I'm not talking about your ex-girlfriend's meat wallet. I'm talking about props with a number 1 on their backs. You're watching Distracted Sports. Intercept that like button, and with the help of the beautiful bastards on Reddit, we're finding the top 10 loosehead props of all time. Our top 10 lists are a lazy way to engage viewers in meaningless content, which will climax with a number 1 that you'll disagree with and leave you ultimately unsatisfied, forcing you to unload your rage in the comments below. Oh yeah, they are, and with a degree of shame that all Catholics naturally hold at all times, I do them anyway. The goal is to find the greatest first 15 of all time, so I'm making top 10 lists for every position until we have found the entire mother flipping team. In the last video in the series, we started with our flashy fullbacks, but this week, we're dropping the flash for grunt, and we're looking at huge humans that God specifically created to push other huge humans. Now, this list is not based on my opinion, it's the opinion of the good folks on the rugbyunion subreddit. I moseyed on over to the site and asked, who is the greatest loosehead prop of all time? From there, I tallied the mentions, upvotes, and I created the list. Despite me telling you this, right now, many people will still tell me that my opinion is about as valid as Bill Cosby's opinion on sexual assault prevention, and that I'm full of more shit than a constipated fat f*** at an all-you-can-eat buffet. And you know what I say to that? Comment away. Let me know who you think should be on the list, and fill your boots, boys! And the 6% of you that are ladies. Anyway, as we all know, a game of rugby is one up front. Loosehead props don't get much appreciation, so it's about time to ignore the glory boys and give some love to the big men who do the hard yards in the front row and take it up the guts when necessary. So, without further ado, I give you the top 10 loosehead props of all time. Number 10, Matt Dunning. Now, despite looking like a distressed ball and testicle in headgear, the man is a cult hero and a legend of Australian rugby. He is probably the one player on the list I'll talk more about his intercepting skills than his scrummaging skills. No mention of the great man would be complete with a retelling of the infamous successful dropkick for the New South Wales Waratahs against the Chiefs in 2003. It was the last game of the regular season. The Tars needed to win with a bonus point to get into the finals. It's the back end of the second half. The Tars were winning but were one try short of the bonus point, and the Tars were given an advantage for a penalty. The obvious play here is to take a kick to the corner and give yourself every chance to set up a try to keep your season alive. The ball spills out to none other than the legend himself, Matt Dunning. He collects it and then executes the highest level of skill he's ever done on a rugby field and hits a droppy sweeter than a boob dipped in maple syrup and slots it through the post, losing the advantage for the Tars and their best chance at securing a bonus point in the game. Once it goes over, the realization that he has screwed the pooch dawns on him, and he raises his hands in disbelief to his teammates as to say, what the f*** have I just done? Sadly for Dunning and the Tars, they never got the bonus point try and they missed the finals. It's all good, Mr. Dunning. We still love you. Number 9, Healy, the Irish enforcer. The man looks like he's more granite than flesh and bone. He's a member of a very small club of human beings that have sat St. Richie of the Breakdown on his holy and majestic ass. He was as powerful as a celibate man's ejaculation in contact and almost unstoppable close to the line. A ferocious and formidable defender, he could hit players with such force that he would give them an existential crisis and question what the heck they were doing with their own lives. The man also had a bit of toe in the open, and bloody hell, he even had a step. His scrummaging is sound, and he's been a key man for Ireland and Leinster for ages now. Number 8, Alex Corbisiero, the scrum machine. This is a list about props for God's sake, and we've barely spoken about scrummaging. Alex was undoubtedly one of the best scrummagers the world has ever seen. When he was able to make the field, he was damn near impossible to get one over on. The peak of his career came at the 2013 Lions tour, when he repeatedly dismantled the Aussies and proved to have a massive advantage at the set piece. He also won a premiership with Northampton and beat the All Blacks at Twickenham. Probably one of the most gifted props to ever play the game. Sadly for Alex, his career was dogged by persistent serious injuries to his shoulder, neck and back. He only made 20 appearances for England and was forced into retirement at the very early age of 27. What could have been if this guy had more luck? Proving that life can be one cruel, heartless bitch of a thing. Since retiring, he's met the love of his life, but he's been diagnosed with testicular cancer, which has spread to his lymph nodes, and he's continuing his battle, which we all, I'm sure all of us watching this, send him heaps of love. Go get your prostates checked, fellas. Number 7. This legend of a Lucy was a softly spoken gentleman, but still a ferocious lion, and will go down as one of Scotland's greatest players. By no means a big colossal prop, but he was technically brilliant at scrummaging. He confounded opposing tight heads with his skill and his body positioning. He was nuggety and effective around the breakdown, with his hard-nosed pick-and-go running that would always get go-forward ball for his side. He also had a great mind for the game, and knew when to pass the ball to the man on the outside when it was on. Tragically, in April this year, Tom lost his battle with cancer and passed away at the far too young age of 50 years old. Well, we send all our love to his friends and family.
The honest player gets up in the morning and looks himself in the fucking mirror and sets his standard, sets his stall out, and says, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better.
Number 6, Christian Caliafano, a legend in the game and a powerhouse for France. His first 2 tests were victories against the All Blacks in 1994, a feat that would not be replicated until this year when the boys in green did the same thing, much to my disgust. So, anyway, Caliafano, he went on to have an illustrious career, being capped 68 times for Le Bleu. Now, for whatever reason, it's quite hard to find highlights of this man in action, but not hard at all to find footage of him being a cool guy in the sheds, doing radio, farming, enjoying meat, scuba diving, and even doing some bloody motocross and talking. Lots and lots of talking in French. A beautiful language that I don't understand. But trust me, this guy was a great player. The only highlight I can really find is this excellent try he scored against the Scots. A lovely step and a great finish. Number 5, Jason Leonard, a guy who looks like your dad's mate who laughs at his own jokes, was at the time of his retirement the most capped English player of all time, and clearly one of the best players to ever play with a number 1 on his back. A key man in an era where the English were probably the most dominant pack in the world, and a side that really just played 10-man rugby, as their outside backs were purely there for defence and decorative purposes. He secured a whopping 119 international test caps for the English and British and Irish Lions. Just think about how many world-class scrums this man has packed down over the years. It's honestly mind-boggling. The man bridged the gap between the amateur and professional eras, making his debut in 1990, playing in 2 World Cup finals in 91 and in 2003, where the Poms got the chocolates in a classic match. Leonard is adored by his teammates and respected by all as a great Lucy. Number 4. A man so hard-nosed it's hard to know where his forehead ends and his snoz begins. The ferocious blue lion, the Welshman Geraint Jenkins, a unit on defence that made opponents feel like they'd just run into a brick wall at full tilt. He hit so hard that you'd be forgiven for thinking, despite having the most Welsh name in history, he must be part Samoan. He was formidable at the scrum, clinical with all his fundamentals at the set piece. He was also not one to be toyed with when he had ball in hand. For a man who's gone on the record to say he never really wanted to play in the front row, but was too slow to play anywhere else on the park, he sets himself apart from other props, not only with his defence, but his incredible work rate. He had the engine other props could only dream of. Number 3, the only Kiwi on the list, a man with the last name that would suggest he'll never need Viagra. It's Tony Woodcock, everybody. I'm thrilled he's on the list. He plays for literally every team I support. Anyway, he played a gigantic 111 tests for the All Blacks during his career. Despite this, it's tough again to find highlights of him playing. He was just a quiet, world-class performer. He was part of 2 World Championship squads, and of course, the man bloody well scored a try in a World Cup final, which somehow is an achievement for props and quiet blokes everywhere. Over his long playing record, he achieved an insane 87% winning record with the All Blacks. Sure, he played with some incredible players, but there's no way a team can have a record like that without a sensational loosehead prop who reliably secured possession at the set piece over and over and over again. Hats off to you, Woodcock. Number 2, a man who looks like Idris Elba ate a clone of himself. It's the one and only, it's the beast, the beautiful Tendai Matawera. Standing at 6'2", he's almost as broad as he is tall. He picked up the nickname The Beast at primary school because even back then, people saw him and knew that he was an extraordinary physical specimen. He played his junior rugby at number 8, but only shifted to the front row just before starting his professional career at the Sharks. During his time in the Bock jersey, he was crucial in demolishing a high-quality Lions outfit in 2009, showing he was one of the world's best scrummagers. His strength is the stuff of legend. I mean, what the hell is this? This is crazy, ridiculous stuff here from the beast. He has 117 caps and won a World Cup. He has an infectious smile and was adored by fans around the world, and there's no way that you can't love the man they call the Beast. Number 1. Now, if this man wasn't our number 1, I'm pretty sure I would have got death threats from South Africa. The absolute best loosehead prop of all time, the undeniable Mr. Geraint. Born with a receding hairline, even as a young fella, he looked like an old pro, but in reality he was the archetype of a modern front rower and showed so many that there is so much more to props than scrummaging. He had ball skills and handles that just seemed unnatural. It was like seeing a nun at an orgy, something that shouldn't happen, but something you just couldn't keep your eyes off and enjoy. The sheer mass of this human was just a sight to behold. He almost had his own gravitational pull, for God's sake. He had a lovely turn of pace and he was incredibly powerful. It wasn't uncommon to see him with multiple defenders on his back as he charged towards try lines. This legend won 2 World Cups, yeah, not in consecutive tournaments. No, this massive mobile monster won his first in 95, and then 12 years later, with a 2-year break in there and an incredible comeback thrown in there for just for good measure, this legend won a 2nd World Cup in 2007, capping off a remarkable career. Geraint, you are a legend. So there we have it, team. Congratulations to Oz, you have made the team. You are officially the loosehead prop for the ultimate first 15 in the history of the game. Well done, sir. If you disagree with the list, tell me about it in the comments below and let me know who you think should have been here and who shouldn't have been in here. I can't believe that person was in here. I can't believe this is the order that you had. Give me all that shit. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. That would be lovely. The next video I'm making will be on the greatest right winger. If you'd like to vote, look at the pinned comment and there'll be a link to the subreddit where you can post your favorite number 14. Also, follow me on Twitter at Tones88. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You have yourself a lovely day. I really do mean that. Mwah! See ya. Bye-bye.